Long ago, before any of the modern religions we have today, man worshipped dragons. It started in the first civilization and spread to all corners of the earth from there. In Europe, across Asia, down in Africa and Australia, and all the way in the Americas as well. All these civilizations claim their gods were serpents. In the Hebrew text, the serpent represents knowledge, and to these other ancient religions, it was the same. The serpent or dragon gods were the bringers of knowledge and civilization. They taught humans how to do great works like building massive megalithic and pyramidal wonders of the early ancient world. The people would honor them by depicting them on nearly all of their architecture and artworks. In this video, I'm going to show you all the cultures that practice this serpent worship, going all the way back to Neolithic times, and surviving up until the modernization of our world. Neolithic times refers to cultures after the last cooling period of the Earth 12,000 years ago. The people before this time period held similar beliefs to later Neolithic cultures, but artifacts are few and far between. What we do have are sites that date back to around 10,000 BC to 2000 BC, like Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, both of which have significant amount of serpent symbolism. All over both these sites are snakes carved into the megalithic rocks. We don't know exactly why, but it's clear they played a significant role in their religion and culture. And we find these same symbols all around the Neolithic world, at nearly every site we have. Here's a painting from Cathal Hayek, also in Turkey. There's some in France at the Karnak stones. There's some in Ireland, and in England, and hundreds of others as well. Again, these sites are hard to come by, and lie in extreme ruin, but the ones we do have almost always have a variety of serpent and snake symbolism. If we continue further along our timeline, we come to the first civilization, the Sumerians. Their head god Anu gave birth to two sons who ruled the earth, Enki and Enlil. These two gods went on to have sons of their own. One of them, the son of Enki, was the serpent god. His symbol was the caduceus, and it was the first recorded use of the now medical symbol. This sign was later associated with the Greek messenger god Hermes, and also the Egyptian god Thoth. But these later iterations can all be traced back to Sumeria, and most likely the early Neolithic people as well. In the Sumerian, this snake god was associated with a mythological creature, a dragon they called Mashushu. This was a hybrid creature with the talons of an eagle, lion-like forelimbs, a long neck and tail, two horns, and a snake-like tongue. And its name translated to Splendor Serpent, and it was associated with the constellation of Hydra. These stories also all find parallels in Canaanite, Egyptian, and Greco-Roman religions. And all of them use the serpent as an important symbol representing knowledge and enlightenment. In China, the dragon or serpent symbol was and is extremely meaningful to this day. The original dragons were also considered hybrid creatures, an amalgamation of several animals including a deer, ox, lion, snake, and eagle. They were also said to have elemental powers, controlling the winds and seas. The first emperors would converse with these divine dragons and gain wisdom from them. They were actually believed by early Chinese to be real creatures of divine origin, not just mythology. And the early Chinese writings are full of stories of these dragons. And the Chinese even said their first emperors were descendants of these dragons. In India, serpent symbolism goes beyond worship and depictions. In the Vedic text, there are literally a semi-divine race called the Nagas, who are a kind of snake-human hybrid, similar to what we see in the Sumerian snake god. In India, the Nagas were a kind of shape-shifting being, taking on both full snake and full human forms at different times. They lived underground in their great city, and like we find in China, many rulers have claimed to be descendants of a union between human and Naga beings. These creatures themselves were said to be the offspring of one of the 7 sages or Saptarishis we spoke about in a previous video. I'll link that below. but they hold significance as far as southeastern Asia and southern China. And many ancient structures are adorned with these Naga beings. Next, whether brought over by the Bering Land Bridge or introduced through some other contact, the dragon cult made its way to the Americas. And in North and Central America we find some of the most preserved and well-developed versions of this religion. Every Mayan, Olmec, Toltec, and Aztec site are adorned in these great serpents. The clearest and most well-preserved writings come to us from the Aztec, where they claim their god Quetzalcoatl, the great feathered serpent, brought them civilization and kick-started their culture, bringing them things like their advanced calendar, pyramid building, knowledge of the stars and planets, and much, much more. All of this has perfect parallels as far back as the Sumerian and Babylonian cultures. And we find serpent symbolism in the US and in South America as well. Along the Mississippi, the mound building societies use the rattlesnake in much of their art. We even find the motif of the snake eating its tail at various mound sites, and in Mexico. A symbol that is prominent in all these other civilizations we've talked about. And in South America, near the pyramids in Peru, are cities adorned in more serpent symbolism. Even in Australia, their creator god was known as the rainbow serpent, and they depicted him all over caves and rocks. So, it seems every culture practiced some form of dragon or serpent worship. But why was it so prevalent? Was it really one culture that spread from the Fertile Crescent in Mesopotamia? In the future, I want to further research this worldwide culture. There are a bunch of other motifs like the dragon and serpent symbols that span the entire world. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those. Also, go check out our Patreon. It's only $3 at the moment. Go become a member. It's very cheap. I'll see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.